Hello everyone and welcome back to The Letter. In the last episode, we came to the bar. Ash is kind of contemplating his life, monologuing a bit. Now he's hearing voices, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. He's also friends with the eyeless bartender.
Yeah, we didn't notice that the first time.
Nope.
But at least I don't think I did.
So I've deduced.
Really, the only thing he has is, I just realized the mustache. There's like none of them have faces.
He did it.
Yeah, it's clearly the bartender.
Every single clue is leading to him.
All right. Let's see what the voices in our head have to say.
All right.
It's all your fault.
Uh-huh.
Why won't you believe me?
A reminder of what I failed to do and of who I failed. At some point, they all begin to blur together, twining and coiling, every horrid image in memory of her seeking the forefront of my mind. No matter how much I refuse to remember the fear I felt then, to push it as far back as I can, the visions come to me like a deluge. Before I know it, before I can drown it, another voice pulls me out of it.
You doing good there, boy?
His hand is on my shoulders, gripping it tightly and giving me a light shake. There's relief in his face when I finally look up at him, although his frown appears more distinct than the concern in his eyes. It's deeper now, marred with worry and agitation. He does let go when I offer him a small nod, but the furrow between his eyebrows never leaves his face. He always has a knack for reading people, after all, even someone who can be as closed off or distant like me. In all the time I've spent in the force, there's only one other person who's been as keen as this old guy, the chief. Funny and weird to some degree.
He kind of looks like the chief.
Yeah, I think I thought the voice was like the same at one point.
His face looks like the chief too.
Yeah. A little bit.
Are they twins?
Oh.
Double life?
That was kind of like my first thought, like, oh my god, he is the chief. I've pointed out to him so many times before how much they look alike, only for the observation to be brushed off with a vehement tone. I never brought it up again after the third time out of respect for the guy. Whatever it is, it's clear it's something he doesn't want to talk about. Oh, they're so twins! Why push, right? However, during times like this, it's impossible for the thought not to come up. He even has the glare down pat.
I'm more interested in this than the ghost right now.
I mean, I'm more interested in this than what's going on in our head.
Well, any monologuing that has to happen or backtracking the story, this is more interesting.
Yes. Under his wordless scrutiny, I feel like a damn rookie
You're looking
again.
a bit green. Sure you got plenty of rest back there? You were only out for an hour or two. Wouldn't hurt to try and get some sleep. I'll keep an eye out.
No need. Don't worry about me. I won't be able to get some sleep anyway.
Not with her face still a clear picture in my head now.
I heard that from you before. Not buying it. What's the story this time? This as bad as that case with the guy who ate his own eyeball?
Ooh.
I wish it were. Jesus, stop reminding me. I hated that
We've
case.
talked about that before, haven't we?
Yeah.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you get a kick out of telling people about it.
That's not every day.
It's useful, you know, for blokes who don't know their limits. Sends them right out the door after I start with a description. Or was it the part when the poor schmuck gouged his eyes out?
Ugh.
Nasty, awful, icky stuff, and it gets the job done. Like I said, useful. Don't even need to call security these days if I want to kick someone out.
That's hysterical.
Anyway, pretty sure that pales in comparison to whatever this is now.
They're pretty close.
I haven't seen you this stressed out since they closed that case. The one from 10 years ago with your professor friend.
Oh,
Abigail and her team weren't able to solve that one, G. No one has been able to. It just went cold.
Same difference. But what do I know, eh? I just serve drinks, listen to people's problems and their whining, then make sure they get home safe afterwards. Thing is, I'm also not blind, kiddo. And
He's
you
gonna
can
tell
bet
us
your
he's
ass I
blind.
can tell when a person's about to fall apart.
What? Is this some form of therapy from you? Are you going to offer me free drinks now?
Ooh.
I'll take free drinks.
Really, I can use some right now. Something to numb the senses. But when has that helped anyone?
In your dreams, kid. Last time someone gave you the hard stuff, your photographer friend had to haul you out of this place almost half naked.
Hey, I can handle my liquor when I put my mind to it.
Oh, man.
Not from what I've seen, nope. Besides, you usually avoid drinking. Either way, it's out of the equation. And when booze no longer counts, we just talk. So, talk. It's not like anyone within earshot will care. That chap over there only wants his cricket matches.
I doubt you believe it, G.
I've heard worse stuff. Try me.
You know that mansion down at Anslum?
Yeah, who doesn't? You live in this town long enough, it's impossible not to hear a thing or two about it. Bloody locals.
Well, my friend found a primitive version of a chain letter in there. Now that we've seen it, we're cursed.
A beat passes. For a long moment, G stands there, unmoving. His hand stops short of placing the glass he's been wiping prior back to a rack on his left. all while he stares at me with with eyes that are nothing short of scrutinizing. He probably assumes I'm joking. Who wouldn't? Not a week ago, I've been put in the same position. Even now, in spite of the things I've seen and heard, it simply won't sink in. Or maybe this is just desperation creeping in, the idea that I may not be able to find a way out of this. Whatever the case is, for people who hasn't experienced what I'm going through, this will merely sound like an awful Halloween prank.
It's not a prank.
This must have been what Isabella felt the whole time we made fun of her that day.
This isn't a prank. I saw something.
Now it's too late. We're stuck in a never-ending nightmare where the only way out might be death. And like I've expected, G's reaction to it, an amused laughter. It booms throughout the whole pub after a long bout of silence, like I've just told them a particularly funny joke.
Not joking, dude.
Good one, kid. You don't want to spill. No one's forcing you. Seriously, though. Good one.
Although I want to be angry with him, I can't find it in myself. Can't even muster the energy for a scowl or a glare. Nothing but a taste of my own medicine to temper the annoying bubbling up in me, I suppose. In the end, echoing her words is the best I can do.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, all right. Good luck with that. You're on your own. Here, I thought you didn't have an ounce of humor in that body. Guess
Maybe
I'm
that
wrong.
should tell you that he's not joking, jackass.
Yeah. He shakes his head, lets out another chuckle before returning to his task. By now, almost half the glasses have been put away. The only ones remaining are the smaller kind used for shots and stemmed ones for cocktails. Despite being busy with his task, his amusement does not entirely disappear from his face. He keeps talking as if I'm simply another customer he entertains with his stories. But we both know it's more than that, if the wistful expression on him says anything.
Can't believe you're the same rookie who walked in here almost a decade ago. Too smart for his own good, that boy. He's always been 2 steps ahead of things. Now he's here, sulking.
I must have screwed up somewhere then.
I must have screwed up a lot. For things to suddenly shift like this, for me to become a mere shadow of the person I used to be.
I don't think so. This one, screwed up? Not by a mile. It's too early to say. You've still got several years ahead of you, Holmes. Take it easy. But some things change, eh? It has been years, and you were a kid back then. You know, the sort that's a bit unsure. Making all the horrible decisions in life he'd eventually be embarrassed to talk about.
You never stop calling me kid, though.
Well, you still are. It's just that this time, you're sure of who that badge and gun is for. What was it you police types usually say? To protect and serve, yeah?
A significant pause follows at its heels. From both of us as he allows its meaning to sink in and spur something in me, stirring a feeling both heavy and forceful, but not completely unwelcome. Familiar. Though before I can clarify what he's trying to imply or gather my thoughts on the matter, G turns away to begin his work on the silverwares. He'll need those too once more of his patrons come in for lunch, slow and easy. A sharp contrast with the strained air we've been wading through these past weeks. A fleeting moment, but one I allow myself to relish, if only because of its absence lately. The way things are now, this is almost a gift.
Where's everybody else?
Right? So when it all ends with the loud shuffling of foot from the adjacent hallway, sigh is all that leaves me. There's no need for me to look up to know who it is. Zach's treads alone are telling. There's always a weighted set to them, steps that are taken with a lazy cadence. Like he's always trying to make himself smaller, less conspicuous than he actually is. In a place he's unfamiliar with, he also tends to linger, stand awkwardly at the sides as if he's all too afraid to break something. That or he's waiting for a permission of some kind. Either way, he's never been the kind to barrel headfirst into things or forgo courtesy, despite appearances. Much like how Rebecca's mother henning belies her fiery temperament, or Isabella's rare displays of maturity appears at odds with her youth. There has been a lot of those in my life, it seems, more so from the people I've grown closer to over the years. Walking contradictions, we all are. It's a wonder how we ended up as friends in the first place. And maybe that's also exactly why, to some extent, there's still an understanding in there, in knowing that no matter how long you've been together, or how familiar you are with the person's habits, or how many lifetimes there might be for all of you, one can never fully know a person. Sometimes it works because they merely choose to say so. Sometimes it's as simple as someone extending a hand first for an apology, regardless of every hurtful word said.
Oh, sorry. We're not supposed to do that?
I don't know.
I don't understand what's going on.
I don't
Hey.
either.
Hey, Ash?
Like, I have no idea what that had to do with anything. This time I glance at him, briefly gauging the mood.
I think I've decided everyone in this game has ADD. They're just like
Yeah, kind of all over the place.
all
with
over
their
the
thoughts.
place on thoughts, and they can't focus on the task at hand. Like, you're going to get murdered. Maybe you should think about things that have to do with that.
Yeah, that one. Not because reconciliation's an issue for me. Between us, it never will be. But somehow, this is another thing I'm all too afraid to see crumble in front of me. One wrong word, if this is going to end in another argument, we might as well stop as early as now. There's another long pause from him, during which he can't seem to figure out what to do with his hand. In the end, he chooses to stuff both into his pockets and trains his eyes at the now empty space behind the counter. Without our notice, G has slipped back to the kitchen, leaving only the two of us and everything awkward in the world at the moment. Still, Zach trudges on, a hopeful tone slipping into his voice simply because it's the only thing he knows to do.
Did you, get any sleep?
It's a start, at least. A stiff one, but a start. The least I can offer in return is that rare honesty.
For a few hours, yeah.
Curt, brusque, and not an ounce of friendliness in it. In spite of it, Zach takes it as a sign. Relief washes over him as his shoulders relax and he releases a tense breath. Soon he's closing the distance he has put between us and flops onto the chair to my
I
right.
think the better question is if the dreams are pleasant. And for the record, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get those a lot.
He shifts in his seat, coughs, drums his fingers on the counter for a short while, then falls silent. That's it. No apologies. Somehow, that short exchange is all we need. The air changes again, much like everything we've known lately. Maybe not for the better, not yet. However, it's less suffocating with less hostility and resentment. The kind where it's easy to pretend, easy to forget. Not that it's a thing that'll happen anytime soon, but one can dream. In a situation where death might come knocking anytime, it's these little hopes we cling to. It's these little things we wish will happen again. I'm not an optimistic person by nature, hopeful maybe, but never optimistic. Though I want to believe there's a way we'll live through this nightmare.
Figure out what the hell is going on.
Okay. It's just funny how it took all of this to spur these kinds of thoughts in me. I can't even remember the last time something like it has occurred to me. For some reason, after seeing one harrowing thing after another, I've simply forgotten.
Why?
You're a detective.
Why are you suddenly smiling like that?
Huh? Oh, no, I was just thinking about something.
Well, it better be something that'll get us out of this mess.
Yes, that
Yeah,
one. Zach.
it had nothing to do with that, I promise you.
What makes you think I know how to fix this? Until 2 days ago, I didn't even believe a word you guys have been telling me. Zach, I function better when I'm dealing with homicide cases. Hell, feel free to throw in the usual robbery and missing persons case into the mix. I don't care. Give me a few days and I'll give you a lead. This isn't how I operate. This isn't what I'm good at. For all you know, I might even end up getting us killed. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, the fact that you're frustrated but still trying already means something, Ash. Besides, you don't make that face unless you already have an idea. It can't be any worse than this. Maybe. It's on your mind, Ash.
There really is something about Z-Man. Between Rebecca and him, I tend to share with him things I won't normally say to the other. Unlike her, who pushes, sometimes with the same tenacity as her moods, Zach has this strange tendency to ease people into telling him what he wants to know. Oftentimes, the question feels subtle. It catches me off guard, with less force and more forbearance. After all, out of anyone, he's the most grounded. Really, he's like the older brother I never had, the kind you can depend on when things go sour. The kind you tell things to simply because he'll listen without forcing his own opinions on you.
We still have one more lead we haven't checked. I'm gonna look into it
You gonna go
tonight.
stake out the mansion? Or are you gonna go talk to the Wrights? Or are you gonna go check out the fact that Marianne's in the basement?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the reason Marianne's in the basement is if that was a predetermined story thing, or we did mess up that one like QuickTime event.
I don't know, but you got an achievement that says you did good on all the quick time events.
That's true. That we completed. Well, it said we completed them, so I don't know if it will let you. Well, it didn't let us keep going. I don't know. It doesn't take him long to put two and two together, and his calm expression abruptly dissolves to worry the second he realizes what I mean. We've already examined the letter, read through piles of documents. There's really only one we haven't given a once-over. The mansion. Of course, Zach may not be the kind to push, but that doesn't mean he agrees with everything that comes out of my mouth. It's his way of keeping me steady and on my feet through the years.
Hold on, didn't you tell me not to go in there? Whatever happened to stay away from Luke Wright?
You're an unarmed civilian, Zach.
And so?
So, I want you to stay here and keep yourself safe. I probably won't take too long, but I don't know what might happen. I'm not even sure if I'll find something in there. G will keep an eye on you guys. If you need anything, that woman shows up, just holler. He'll help out, no questions asked. You don't even need to explain anything.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Throw booze at her? Ooh, maybe that's the problem. Let's get her drunk.
Yeah, oh my god, why did we think of this earlier?
Ash, you dumb.
Yeah. He's not willing to concede, not from the manner he grips his knees or the rigid set to
I'm
his jaw.
going with you. You can't go in there alone, Ash. I heard something. The morning I was there, I heard someone scream, and then there was a woman crying, and I don't know what's going on inside that mansion, but I am telling you, you shouldn't face whatever's inside alone.
Before I can stop myself, a heavy breath escapes from my mouth. It's one of those times again where Zach means well, but he's completely missing the point I'm trying to make.
Who's gonna protect the women?
Yeah, wait, what?
If Zach goes with him, who's gonna protect Rebecca?
But, G.
Please. He doesn't believe in this shit.
Yeah. When things take a turn for this, when he gets in the mood like this, it's almost as headstrong as Isabella. How and where do I even start? I feel like the top one is really bad.
Yeah, I think it's the bottom one.
There are only two ways this will end.
All right, how does it end?
Oh,
My God, we are so close to having perfection with Zach.
yeah. I agree with him and take him with me, or I agree with him and drop the idea altogether.
Interesting.
Neither appeals more than the other, especially when we're all desperate for answers and a way out. If all it'll take is a little more honesty to make him drop this harebrained idea, so
Look,
be
man.
it.
Bro. Z-Man. Zach. Zachary, listen.
Zachariah.
I know you only want to help.
Like hell! This ain't just about helping, Ashton! You're throwing yourself in the thick of it on your own!
I hope he's really screaming this in the bar
Yeah.
where there's like 3 people there and everyone's doing one of these. Like,
Was your fall last night really that bad? Did you hit your head hard?
because it kind of sounds like a lover spat.
I honestly can't tell if you've gone stupid or just plain suicidal.
My head's okay, Zach. But it won't stay that way if we don't do anything about this. Someone has to.
Seriously, this is already a desperate move. The longer we dally, the faster we're losing our options. Do we even have one? Looking back at it, this whole business with the ghost seems perfectly set up to drive us into a corner. Either until we lose our mind or she gets us. It's starting to feel as if there isn't an escape. We've already become her playthings the second Isabella found the letter. That our lives are in our hands ticks me off big time, but the idea of watching the people I care about die helplessly, more so. They're much safer here than with me. It's a selfish thought, I know, born out of fear. So in case things go awry, the very last thing I want to happen is for Zach to take the fall with me. I've already made enough
And
mistakes.
that means it's just you.
Just me.
Suddenly he clams up. Although his actions, the restless shift in his shoulders, his mouth pressing close in a tight line, and how he starts off again in a quiet note. It all gives away his real thoughts, long before 2 words have even made it out of his mouth.
I'm sure you already know about this. Maybe this is you trying to make amends, or whatever. I don't know. You're making your own decisions here. But if something happens to you, it'll be just that. You'll just be another dead body out there. Please, don't do something like this.
Don't worry. I'm not stupid enough to get myself killed. I just want things to go back to normal, Zach.
Another dead air follows at the heels of that one admission. The meaning of my words, too heavy, too striking, it stuns us into another lull. Optimism aside, we're both aware that it's impossible. We're going to have to deal with the trauma right after. There will be the images, the voices whispering inside our heads, the foreboding feeling, the scent of blood, gore, and death trailing after us. We may survive this, but those things, they will remain in us for a long time. One does not survive something like this without it leaving something in you. Just the mere thought of what might come right after makes me dread it. What this has changed in all of us, but I suppose that outcome is more acceptable, the lesser of 2
3
evils.
hours.
My head snaps up and I turn to him puzzled. He's staring at his hands with a thoughtful expression, brows furrowed in deep concentration, like he's trying to choose the right words to convey what he's about to say.
3 hours? For what?
That's more than enough time to go there, to check things, like you said, and travel back here. If you don't show up here beyond that, I'm going after you.
From his tone, it sounds almost like a warning. I'm sure it's not his intention, but hearing something like that from a person like Zach, I can't help but chuckle and throw in a jibe despite how dire things are. Just like old
Take that
times.
4.
What? You said you're just gonna check things. Why would you even need that long?
Speed limit? I'm a ranked law enforcement officer, Zach. I'm supposed to set an example.
so wanna punch you right now.
That's the name of this episode.
Yeah. Hopefully I remember. Of course, Zach never carries it out. In light moments like this, it's just how he is, how we are. Unfortunately, G chooses the next moment to show up. He slams the flat of his palm on the counter and shooting us both a stern look. Although his tone's nothing short of jovial, the disapproval's clear in it. He's obviously misunderstanding the situation.
Boys, drummer's nice and all. I used to watch these bloody god-awful afternoon serials with one of my brothers many, many years ago. But listen, I am not having one in my pub, all right?
Got it. We're good. This is completely
Do you want to
unnecessary.
fight? Go out.
A pregnant pause. Then without any preamble, Zach and I are both snickering and G's glower melts into confusion. When we both show no signs of stopping, he simply shakes his head and turns away. I like to think it's better this way, better that we part on light terms, so Zach won't have to see every little insecurity, every little doubt in me right now. He's seen enough. The last thing I want him to glimpse is another display of weakness. Not when he still stares at me with the same unerring confidence in his eyes. When our mirth dies down, before anything can be said further, before I change my mind, I step away from them. Giving Zach's shoulder a quick few pats, mumbling a lame excuse about taking another short nap under my breath. Altogether burying the stray thought that flashes fleetingly in my head. Zach has seen me at my lowest plenty of times. Why does all of it matter now? What?
What?
Did we go back? I think we went back. No, we didn't. All right. I don't know what's happening, but this seems like as good a place as any to end the episode because I got nothing. And
Maybe he went to go take a nap before he went?
Or maybe, what if he went to the mansion and we're going to see it in Luke's chapter?
Maybe.
I would only be sad because I kind of expected something to happen there, but I guess something has to happen in Luke's chapter.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Besides it being a bratwurst.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.